Welcome to Sunday morning on Bike Racing Without Mercy, a slightly unusual Sunday morning because I'm going to do a very brief polarised training session, quite a tough one, but polarised and very high cadence with ERG mode, unusually for me. I'll explain a little bit about that shortly. And then I'm going to go into a little bit of zone 2 and 1 for recovery. If people fancy hanging around for a brief or slightly longer chat regarding training and nutrition, really happy to do that. I'm just going to set up the training. I'm going to use, hey Daniel, hey Josh, how are you both going? Nice to see you both. I'm just setting up the training. Need to get this right. So if I go for yes, it's step by step. Team DGR, good to have you on board. Hope you're well today. This is a little unusual because it's just a training. Hi Tom Cycles, how's it going? How's your YouTube channel? You and Josh both together with the YouTube channels. Nice one, gents. Hey Zach, you alright? Congratulations on your FTP increase. Sensational. That's Ed's training coming to bear and outdoors as well, I saw. Incredible. Agnes, what can I say? 118 kilometers outdoors. That's way more than I've ever ridden. I respect you for that, Agnes. Sean, my word, have I been enjoying your post, Sean, on the bridge. Lunch on a bridge I adored. Then spying on sort of people who wish they were on holiday but having a lovely time in the river. I wished I was down there by the river, albeit socially distancing. But boy, is your bike nice, Sean. I got to say that bike is just awesome. And your new blue shoes, well, you're like Dorothy from not the Lion, a Witch in a Wardrobe. What's it called? The Yellow Brick Road. Sorry, I digress. So this is the workout, and it's really horrible. I'm going to probably warm up a little bit longer than this. I only tried one block of it yesterday because my leg is still really hurting. Lee, morning to you, sir, and congratulations on another nice KOM, and I'm sure you're doing a little bit of the fail running as well. Yeah, you're putting down some nice rides outdoors, sir. So this is the training, and you can see it steps up 1.5 minutes, just gradually rising, all of it above FTP. My FTP is 299. Well, assuming it's still 299, it may have come down a little bit following my escapades. But you only get 30 seconds recovery, and that means it's super difficult. It's done very quickly, so I figured it'd be a good opportunity to do a brief training in ERG mode because I'm not able to really stand very easily on the leg, and I'm certainly not going to get out of the saddle and put any pressure on it. But once it's spinning, it's all right. And then do a little bit of Q&A. Phil Rich, morning to you, sir. How are you? Good to have you on board. Oh, so here's the training. You get 5 minutes of recovery and then you go again. Now, I did one block of this yesterday just to see if I was capable of doing it. And I got to say, I could barely turn the pedals at the end of this first block here. So if I manage to get some way into the second block, that's going to be good. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to get on the bike. Now, this is an intricate process. And the reason I'm probably able to train at the moment is because the watt bike is nice and stable. The watt bike's nice and stable. And if I was on the road, I don't think I could unclip the left leg very easily because of the lateral movement. Morning, Mike. How's it going? Good to see you. I've seen again that you're getting into a little bit of the polarised training, plus some nice rides outside, sir. Mike Pickery, very good to have you on board. Thank you for joining. I'm just saying to everybody, I'm doing a brief polarised training that you can see here. And then I'm going to do a little bit of zone 2 and a bit of a Q&A on training and nutrition, because I get quite a lot of questions on training and nutrition, and I thought it'd be nice to share a little bit of the knowledge. So let's go into the workout itself. I may do a little bit more of a warm up here. Chris, how's it going, sir? Did I already say that? Sorry, I'm still not 100% at the moment. Oh. I had an accident on a roundabout, Lee. Well, I thought it was a roundabout. It turned out it wasn't a roundabout, and I hit a car head on. Yeah, nice one, Zach. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah, sometimes you just got to kind of just get your head down and get through the difficulty. Steve, 350 kilometers, an imperial double century. You did it for your comrades from Iraq, and you're doing a double metric century today for the same reasons. Incredible, sir. Yeah, definitely, Lee. I'm very fortunate. It could have been a lot worse. I'll show people the helmet afterwards. Because, I mean, the helmet saved my life, basically. It was a full frontal crash. I thought I was on a roundabout, and I thought I was coming off the roundabout, but I was coming into traffic. Well, a single car, the only car in London. Nice one, Chris. Enjoy it. It's a perfect day for it. I wish I could ride outside. Just going to turn on the air conditioning. Not the air conditioning. The fan. Hi, Mick. How are you today, sir? There's a lot of orange in the workout. It's going to be brief. Gary, thank you very much for joining. I hope you're well, sir. Oh. Rogue, I'm really looking forward to doing one of your workouts to strengthen my knee joints, my hamstrings and my quads once I'm able to get full range of motion. And if you haven't subscribed to Rogue Vogue, she's got some really cool workouts, but also Rogue and Andy put a lovely video out last night relating to how you get a ride in Bangkok in Thailand. It was really nice and fun. Lovely little tea shop you went to. And Rogue is the architect of the stair workout. So let me just call up the how do I oh dear, it's not letting me how do you on the computer I don't know how to get the bar up to make the workout reverse. Let's carry on the warm up. Yeah, I need to carry it on longer. Mick, 1 hour 27 KOM. That takes some doing. Nice one, sir. Right. Anyone got any ideas? If I go menu, no, that's not it. Anyone got any ideas how to get that little bar? Oop, no, not that. On the bottom where you can kind of rewind. Sorry, I'm going to have to do the workout with a slower warm up, with a less of a warm up than expected. I can't touch it because I'm on my PC. Normally, when I train on my own, I have an iPad. Oh no! Oh, not that. Oh no! Oh, the companion app. Yes. Thank you. I was hoping to get a bit more blood into the legs. I need to get ERG mode on as well, I'm not quite sure. Right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to restart the Zwift. If I go menu, back. Oh no. Menu. Okay, end the ride, because I don't think I've got ERG mode on. Get rid of that, because I don't want people being spammed on Strava. Hey Gary, yeah, I'd love to do a group ride at some point. Sorry, you're going to have to bear with me. What? This is not slick, is it? I don't seem to ever do slick. What I do is make things unnecessarily difficult. Ah, mouse click. Right, I should have tried that. My apologies. Thank you, Mick. Sorry, I'm panicking now. When things don't go according to plan. Yeah, so I was saying, subscribe to Rogue Vogue's channel. She's nearly at 100 subscribers, and when her and Andy get to 100 subscribers, they get a little a click through, which Rogue can put to Fitness with Rogue on her Instagram. And that means people can click off Instagram and straight into her YouTube channel. And so 100 subscribers is a really big and difficult thing to get to. Right. Nearly there. Oh, come on, Philip. Oh. Here we go. At last. Right. So I'll make sure I've got ERG mode on. So I'm going back to the same training. Use ERG mode. Yes. Okay. There's the workout. Right. Right. Sorry about that. Oh. Instantly I forget. Right. This is step by step. For some reason, with ERG mode, it's really hard to turn the pedals, and that isn't a good thing right now. Now I think this is going to be okay. I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. Because I did a block of it yesterday. And if I keep the cadence very, very high, here we go. Now let's see if a mouse click. No, mouse click didn't do anything. Anyway, I needed a little extra warm-up. Hi Alex, how's it going? Yeah, I did click on the screen. Yeah, just trying that now. Good to see you riding again, Alex. I saw you're getting rid of 2 Villiers. Why is that, sir? It's saying spin slower. I'm going to ignore that. So what I'm trying to do now is just get plenty of blood in the legs here, because warm blood carries the oxygen better. Well, that's not technically accurate. Warm blood carries more oxygen. It holds more. Also, I'm just making sure my lower leg's okay. Good night, Rogue. Thanks for joining. Hi Scott, how are you today? I think we have a premiere tonight at 8 p.m. I'm really looking forward to it. It looks very, very funny indeed. This is Com Hunt TV. Tonight 8 p.m. Scott's got a new video dropping, and it's really focused on the shenanigans and antics in Minehead. And it does look super funny. Scott shared a brief trailer on Instagram. He's very good at all that kind of stuff. And for me, it's better. Hero is not the word, Tim. Hero is definitely not the word. Feel so cross at myself. But it is part of my personality that I always experiment and push, probably a little too hard at times. It's a balcony in a basement. It's got me success and failure probably in equal measure. Pushing hard, pushing too hard, never knowing when to stop until the wheels come off. But I think I'm okay here because I did a practice. And this is not going to be easy. So this is a brand new Zwift workout. And it's harder, well, it's as hard a workout I've seen other than one. It's the McCarthy Special. And that McCarthy Special is on another level. Hi Daniel, how are you? You're already here, my apologies, sorry, I'm a bit disorientated following the less than slick beginning. Right, so this will be over and done, this workout, in about 25 minutes. But I figured at the end of it, if people have any questions on nutrition and what I've learned from training over the last sort of 19 months or so, it might be a nice thing to do before everybody gets on with their Sundays. I talked about this in the last live stream, Victor Campanart's, where he talked about 110 to 120, really 120 RPM for 20 minutes at very low watts as being a very good recovery. You see, this is what I don't like about ERG. It does take time to get up to speed. That's why normally I don't train with it. But I don't want to put the pressure on the left leg in particular through having to snap between powers. Nice one, Phil. That is a good decision. I mean, Lavarat coaching is about, I think it's something like 30 to 60 pounds a month, depending on which level you have. It is a much better investment than a lighter seat or the lightest tyres, that kind of thing. It will really improve your watts per kilogram, provided you focus as much on the recovery as you do on the hard efforts. The only time I've ever stalled on Ed's program is where I try to snuck in too many Zwift races. All right. Definitely. I'd love that, Phil. Still with the high cadence, really trying to focus on the circular pedal stroke. Trying to have a nice push down and pull back. All right. Yeah, I mean, Ed is like a premium coach who charges a very fair rate. Fair isn't the word. I think he could legitimately charge more based on the results he achieves. Because what you're getting is not some kind of boilerplate training program. It's specific to your requirements. So my early requirements was to develop punch and build FTP. Tomokazu, thank you very much for joining, and I really enjoy some of your Strava posts, sir. Really appreciate your support right from the beginning. It means a lot to me, so thank you very much. And obviously it's really late in the night where you live in Japan, and so thank you so much for tuning in. This is not my usual kind of training session or race. It is coming back from a little bit of an injury. Okay, so got to get the heart rate under control. I've had some carbohydrates, you see there, with the Coca-Cola. I won't be talking much, as I say, during the training. But afterwards, any questions people have, if you've got them on the supplementation or the nutrition, or even the training, I can impart what I've learned from others on the actual bike training. Okay. So a little lag here with ERG. You can see it's quite, this is why I don't like it. Yeah, thank you, Phil. No, I mean, if I'm not feeling good, I'm going to pull the ripcord on it and go to the zone 2. Cheers, Daniel. Leg feels okay. "30 seconds recovery. The next interval, 5 watts more." By interval 5, or 4 and 5, it's horrible. Another 8 seconds lost. Hi Chris, thanks for joining. Legless Gaming, Chris. Legs feel okay. Now it gets very challenging. Try not talking. I'll come back to you. Tomokazu. That's really cool. Yeah, London is amazing at the moment. really hurting now in terms of lactic. Now it hurts in the lactic. Oh. Wow, that is horrid. Graham, nice ride last night with your family. Thanks for your support. Keith, congratulations on the team win for Koa. Oh. Hey Kev Day, what do you think of that RGT platform that I see you riding on? I don't know how doable the second block will be, Zach. Hi Ed, thanks for joining. It's in the new Zwift training sessions, sub 1 hour. Keith? They only listed it about 3 weeks ago, but it's very in line with Ed's methodologies. It's probably a bit hard for me today because there's no standing out the saddle. Heart rate's coming back down okay though. Well, Grandy, I can't really walk still very well. I'm limping. I can't put any lateral sideways forces on the legs, so unclipping is a big problem. Hence I definitely can't ride outside. The watt bike's very stable, obviously. so I can have a very intricate procedure to unclip. But at high cadence, the lungs are still okay and the legs are not hurting. And I think I experimented on Friday with some low resistance, low wattage, very high cadence stuff, 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then I had a ramp. And I kind of, after each 5 minute and 10 minute session, I went away for a few hours to see what the impact was on the legs. And I realised it was probably helping the recovery, not hindering it. And so yesterday I tried one block of this and I couldn't turn the pedals at the end of the 5th set. So then I went into half an hour zone 2 on the drops. Yeah, Keith, I'm really not looking forward to this second set. If necessary, on Zwift Companion, I can scale down. That's super interesting, Kev. And what does it stand for, RGT? Is that the Ruby? Because you seem to be doing some really interesting routes and climbs. And that's super enticing for somebody living in London. Okay. Now it's amino acids, cold coffee, lots of water, Zach. And I had one of these that's got about 35 grams of fast digesting carbs. Am I ready to crush the second set? No. Am I ready to attempt it? Yes. I can talk a little bit about why I train fasted shortly. Yeah, the Coa League looks insane in terms of the racing speeds, Keith. Right, so congratulations on that result. Got to focus now. Was that the platform you're using, Ed? Road Grand Tours? See, the lag on ERG really irritates me. Albeit I need it. God, feels like an eternity. Cheers, Ed. The latics here, Keith. Struggling now. Morning all. Chris, Swords and Cycles, Chris, Green Reaper. I think this could be the end game. Oh. 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 I don't know how. Get going again. Oh, sorry everybody. As Arnold says, do not be afraid of failure. Through failure, we progress. Oh dear me. Oh, I'm really angry at myself there. But literally, I was struggling to turn the pedals. I'd completely run out of glycogen. But that's 4 more sets than yesterday. So that is progression. Cheers, Keith. Appreciate everybody's support. Oh. Yeah, Keith, I think that's the kind of session where in the weeks to come, when I'm recovering at threshold rather than 150 watts, I'll notice the benefit. And that really epitomises Ed Laverak's training. Thank you, Grim Reaper. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, let me just put the fan back on. I could have going a bit longer, I think, if I got out of the saddle. But I think my knee would have given way. Just see. Yeah. And it was the lactic that ground me to a halt, Keith. I think I could have gutted out the high heart rate for a bit longer. Thank you, Zach. Right. Bit of water. Okay. So I don't know if anyone has any questions regarding the fasted training or the supplementation I use. Or indeed, personally what I find most useful from Ed's training and what I found useful before I discovered Ed. Or Ed discovered me. I think I discovered Ed, to be fair. He's a much bigger YouTuber than me. I reached out to him. Well, actually I didn't. Tim Fulford reached out to Ed and hooked us together. Tim Fulford, Cycling Hub. Yeah. Yeah, so you completed this one, did you, Keith? If David Raynham, if you're watching this, David Raynham did 14 consecutive days of VO2 max training. David, I present to you step by step. Enjoy. Do this 14 days in a row. No, don't do this 14 days in a row. You'll be broken. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I think that is 4 pretty good quality intervals. I'd have them at 1 minute 22 intervals rather than 90 seconds because of the lag with ERG. But makes no odds. I was at maximum effort. The training benefit and adaptation will be no different really. I'd have probably burnt out maybe on the 3rd set, maybe before, if I'd done the full 8 seconds. Because obviously 8 seconds less on the hard effort means a 38-second recovery in effect. Oh. So, people have asked about the supplements and the fasted training. If people want to shoot off, please do, because I'm not going to do anything more on the bike other than a little bit of this grey and blue. How do I need to get off ERG. Yeah. I guess I'll get the ball rolling, and if I don't get any questions, we'll shut down the stream in a little bit. But the reason I train fasted a lot is because I train very early in the morning at, say, 6 a.m. I get up at about 5:30. And because I eat lots of carbs throughout the day before, I mean, I eat a lot of carbs. I'm talking bread, cereals, potato, but lots of vegetables and fruit as well, and rice cakes. Boy, do I love a rice cake. But lots of fibrous carbs, carbs full in vitamins and nutrients, obviously the green supplement, and starchy carbs, either potatoes and rice cakes, that kind of thing. So I know first thing in the morning that my muscle glycogen stores are full. Oh, wait a second. because all food gets broken down into glycogen. Basically, whenever you eat, you produce a lot of insulin. Oh, you produce insulin. And insulin is like a hormone that transports nutrients and food around the body and to the pancreas, where it gets broken down and converted into glycogen. And glycogen is the body's, other than obviously oxygen, glycogen is the body's preferred source of energy. So whether you're eating protein, fats or carbs, it all gets broken down and stored in either the brain needs a lot of glycogen to function, the muscles, and any excess goes to fat tissue, the liver, and any excess goes to fat tissue. That's why if you eat too much, you produce ever more insulin, and when it's finished transporting the glycogen to the muscles, the brain and the liver, it can only take it to the fat stores. So to cut a long story short there, obviously if I've eaten plenty the day before, including lots of carbs, my muscles are full of glycogen, my brain's full of glycogen, my liver's full of glycogen. Therefore I don't need to eat first thing in the morning, because if I eat, I produce insulin, the body has to digest it, and that diverts blood away from the process of creating energy on the bike. But also, if I don't eat and I just have the amino acids, the coffee and the water, first thing in the morning, your insulin is very low because you haven't been eating. You wake up with a little jolt of cortisol and adrenaline. And so your cortisol is high. And therefore, if you have the coffee, you spike up the cortisol and adrenaline further, and it gives you a kind of energy for the training. But importantly, that energy is adrenaline and cortisol, the fight or flight hormones. And those hormones break down, amongst other things, fat tissue to create energy. So you get on the bike, your muscles are full of glycogen, the body will burn through the glycogen in preference to fat tissue because it's easier. But once it's burnt through most of the glycogen, it will then start burning through fat tissue. The cortisol and adrenaline will break down fat tissue, but also bone and muscle to create more glycogen. It's a process called lipolysis. And it's a much harder process for the body to initiate than glycolysis, which is converting food into glycogen and glycogen into energy. Glycogen into energy. And so if I train first thing in the morning fasted with the amino acids protect the muscle from breakdown to an extent, not 100%, a partial. And the coffee spikes up the adrenaline and cortisol. And after about 40 minutes, I'll start burning fat tissue. And so definitely in the final 45 minutes of the training, I'm burning through fat. And teaching the body how to convert fat into energy. And that's really important when you're out on these long bike rides, because there's only so many carbohydrates you can carry, and it can stop you from bonking, I guess. So that's why I do the amino acids, cold coffee and all that kind of stuff. But for a training like that, where you're burning through glycogen in some ways, like you're burning through glycogen at a massive rate of knots. That's why I had the full fat Coke during the warm-up, keep them topped up. Here we go. Right. Yeah, Phil, that's a really good question. After this pandemic, I would love to go and have a VO2 max training where they take the blood and all that kind of stuff, but also have my blood analysed. Because as you get older, your natural testosterone levels fall. It's an inevitability. And all this cardio training, plus the low body fat, one of the negative side effects is your testosterone falls. And testosterone is very much linked to superior recovery. That's why athletes who are breaking the law inject testosterone. It's not to make an aerobic athlete bulk up, quite the opposite. it's to improve their recovery. But I think having gone from say 74 kilograms now to 63, my body fat will be low and I worry about my testosterone, but just generally I'd like to see what my hematocrit levels are. Am I naturally gifted as an aerobic cyclist, as it were, and what my VO2 max is. Yeah, the vitamin D is interesting as well, Phil. Yesterday was the first day it was sunny and I wasn't working, and to help with the recovery on the leg, I actually just lay outside on the patio for 40 minutes just to get a natural hit of vitamin D. And when you go to sunnier climates, you see people look healthier, and I reckon they live longer. And I think part of that is the vitamin D. It's also lifestyle. Yeah, Chris, you could definitely get away with normal tea because that's got caffeine in it, not quite as much, or maybe even green tea. I do like green tea, but you can experiment. I mean, normal tea without milk, I would say, or just normal green tea. Indeed, green tea is used in a lot of fat loss supplements. I don't advocate fat loss supplements. I think they're a waste of money. All they are basically is caffeine, so you may as well just have a cup of coffee or a tea. I like the tea, Chris. Very civilised. A little bit of tea first thing in the morning. Nice saucer. A doily maybe. Very nice. Like your style, sir. Yeah, Phil. I think you're right about the vitamin D and testosterone. The supplements I've used for many years. They're from a guy called Phil Richards Performance, and he's based in Wales. PRP supplements. I'm not plugging him. Obviously, I'm not sponsored. I'm a small YouTube channel. But I can promise you, if you were to look at my order history, you would see I've ordered supplements from Phil for many years. In particular, his greens supplements and his amino acids, and sometimes his CLA tablets. CLA is also good for hormone health, testosterone, that kind of thing. It's a natural oil. But I went up to Port Talbot when I was really into the strength training for a 2-day workshop with Phil Richards leading it. Because at one stage I thought I might quit banking and become a personal trainer. But then I realised that wouldn't really cover the divorce settlements and the mortgage, all that kind of stuff. It's a pipe dream. I'd still love to be a personal trainer. But nonetheless, I digress. It was a really, really good training session, a good workshop, 2-day workshop with lots of personal trainers there. But he imparted a lot of knowledge relating to supplementation. Obviously he's got a vested interest in that because he was selling supplementation, but he's a guy that's trained like rugby, professional rugby teams, professional football teams, professional boxers, athletes, bodybuilders, Eddie Hall, that kind of thing. He knows what he's talking about in terms of strength training. And at that seminar or that workshop, we did some strength training, and I realised I'm not a naturally gifted strength athlete. I love strength training, but I'm dreadful at it, really. I'm good at the form, but I can't lift much weight. But I learnt a lot about hormones and the importance of the hormonal environment to training and recovery from Phil. And I've been using his supplements before that, and I've been using them since because they're good quality supplements. They don't have lots of artificial sweeteners. When they are sweetened, he uses stevia, which is a natural sweetener. Iron Man, you were first. You beat Cycle Nutter, sir. How are you today? Yeah, we were just talking about that, Iron Man. I am going to get the blood test and the VO2 max done because I'd like to see my hematocrit, my testosterone. I feel my testosterone is low. But also the hematocrit, I just like to see if I'm naturally gifted. Yeah, stick with the banking. Oh, Graham. I'd love a break from banking. Banking's been really good to me, and it's an important time to be a banker and support companies that are in difficulty. But I'd love to be a personal trainer, or I'd love to have a little gym. I mean, I feel really sorry for all the gyms at the moment that are having to close because it's so expensive to run them. Oh, cheers, Zach. Yeah, 100 kilograms. This is why the cycling... Actually, Zach, you touched on a really important point. So I spent lots of years not really being a part of the fitness community, but watching a lot of people online, on Facebook. And the strength community is nowhere near. And when I say nowhere near, I mean nowhere near as nice as the cycling community. The cycling community is incredible. So if I say, for instance, on a strength channel, posted my 100 kilogram deadlift, which I'm personally pleased with, trust me, I'm pleased with it. I'd have got loads of memes saying, do you even lift? All that kind of stuff. Or needs to do forgot lower body day and upper body day, they'd probably say. That kind of thing. Yeah. PT when I retire, Iron Man. It'd be really nice to have, I'm thinking, a little training facility with watt bike atoms, but somewhere near the countryside so you can train indoors and outdoors, but there's also strength, because I'm a believer, and this is what I got from the strength community. Strength is good. I don't care whether you're an aerobic athlete or a crossfitter. Strength is hard to attain. And once you've got strength, it's easy to lose. It's like the upper end power on the bike. Use it or lose it. That's why I've come back really a bit too quickly here. But strength and muscle, for the average person, prevents injury. Muscle protects the bone, the ligaments, all that kind of stuff. And if you strength train properly with nice form, a straight back, mind-muscle connection, contracting the muscles that you want to contract, you build flexibility. And flexibility, again, is a massive preventer against injury. And that's why I'm always keeping in the strength training. So I'd have a little facility somewhere near a hill, a quiet hill with no cars, obviously. And the ability to train outside with hard efforts on the hill or indoors on one of these virtual platforms, plus strength. And for me, that would be nirvana. Because I really love sharing knowledge and experience. I've done it in banking for many years. I train up the youngsters. And when you train somebody up, and Ed gets pleasure in this. This is why Ed's such a good trainer. You take pleasure from their success. And if necessary, them becoming better than you. In fact, if they become better than you, that is proper success. Change from software development. Yeah, definitely. That's the thing, we're all on a treadmill. There's bills, children, debts. It's a difficult economic environment at the moment. So there's an element of don't make a rash decision, but make an intelligent decision when you're ready to. And there's a little foundation to support it all. Yeah, definitely, Zach. It's a difference between the bros. If you go on a fitness channel and you look at the a YouTube channel and you look at the comments, there's a lot of positivity, don't get me wrong. But there's also a lot of, oh, you're doing a deadlift wrong, or do you even lift, or that's nothing, bro, I can do 320 on the bench or whatever. Whereas the cycling community gets it. It's all about the personal improvement. It's about the social. It's about taking pleasure in the success of others. That's why Strava is fantastic. Oh, why is that? I've got my gears going all the way up. 1 second. Strava's fantastic because you get to see people who are really pleased with their ride, their training, their race, their KOM. And it's all a personal battle. It's not about, which is what I've said a few times, it's not actually about, for me, I want to win the race on Zwift, but that isn't really what life's about. I don't actually feel, I haven't used the resistance bands very much. I prefer like kettlebells, as you can see from my Tesco kettlebell, or dumbbells. I'm actually going to invest in a Tesco kettlebell, not a Tesco kettlebell, a kettlebell, because I think this is going to be a while before we're back in the gym. And even when they let us back in, there's only going to be so many allowed in at a time. Well, Darren, that's a really interesting question. Why do I do the strength before the bike? And, sorry, I was going to turn the fan off. And this is a little bit of bro science, I guess. But I think, and maybe Coach Laverack can opine, I think there is a rhyme and a reason to it. So strength training is very anaerobic. You're contracting the muscle. It's using a lot of ATP, which is a kind of a chemical or a hormone, I can't remember if it's chemical or hormone, that's used for like sprint work and that kind of stuff. And you burn through the ATP, then you burn through the glycogen. And that's the two primary sources of energy you're using for strength training. And you're contracting the muscle hard and it's firing it up. And I think personally, that's very much the same as a polarized bike training, where you're doing like 30-60s, 30-15s, 40-20s, that kind of thing, where it's actually quite anaerobic, bit of VO2 max as well, obviously, and the energy systems are complementary. So I stack the two together. And so you'll see in the next vlog that Chris is putting up, the one before the crash vlog, that I used Chris Garinet's kettlebell swings before last week's race, because I wanted to really fire up the glutes and the hamstrings, like really get them fired up, because I knew there's that leaf hill at the end where we're going to be out the saddle using a lot of glute and hamstring, and it worked. It feels good. And so for me, it's like putting 2 anaerobic sessions back to back, no rest between them, and then you have a full rest and recovery day. Whereas if I did anaerobic on the bike and then I had anaerobic on the strength, I don't have a full rest day for recovery. So what I do is I have a short anaerobic on the bike and a short anaerobic in the gym. Oh, is that right, Ed? I can imagine. Because unfortunately, I guess, with anything, as you get competitive, people are worried about their place on the team or their relative importance on the team, who's going to ride for who, all that kind of thing. I'm kind of glad, and not being a competitive person, I'm not very competitive, as you know. I struggle. It's like if someone's going to edge in front of me, I will yield. And I think the only way I'd have ever survived, if I had any talent at all in a pro cycling team, is being a complete domestique for somebody. Because, yeah, I can imagine the pressure is really intense and everybody's chummy, but at the same time worried about their contract renewal. That's really nice insight, thanks, Ed. It's amazing, therefore, what you do for us all. in terms of sharing your knowledge, your experience, your watts per kilogram, all your training knowledge, all your weaknesses as well, you know, the sprint and stuff like that, laying it out there for everybody. Because as an elite athlete, a pro racer, that's intelligence that other people have. They know how long you can go 6 watts a kilogram for. I hit the resistance bands one, didn't I, Mike? Yeah, I'm afraid I would always invest in good ones. That's all I'd say. You see a lot of people talking about broken resistance bands, but they are very good because they keep the tension on the muscle throughout the full range of motion. Whereas with a dumbbell, there's periods at the bottom you got a lot of tension, but and at the top you lose a lot of the tension. And so generally resistance bands are really good for kind of the mind-muscle connection throughout the full range of motion. Oh. Well, I hope that really gives people insight into what excites me about the channel and about the vlog. The vlog is really how I impart knowledge that I've learned over many years and that I'm learning now from people like Ed. Because there's nothing better. There is literally nothing better than learning from somebody who is an absolute expert. More than an expert, a guru. I called you Yoda, Ed. It's Yoded. A guru. Dan 20 of cycling. Some green space time. That is such a nice idea, Ed. Jane and I sat out on the patio earlier today. Not earlier today, yesterday. And it was glorious, just getting some vitamin D. Yeah, have a picnic, Ed. A cake. I think a cake and a lemonade. Cheers, Ed. I think you're being very generous there. Learning from me. But that's thank you. Yeah, I think a cake and a nice bit of lemonade. Ice cold lemonade. Just like Grandma made it. Maybe actually an ice cream soda. That's even better with a lemonade. I think where you just jump in a couple of bits of vanilla ice cream. I used to love those from my granny. They were amazing. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Unless there's any more questions, I'm going to close down the live stream. I really enjoyed the chat afterwards. I really enjoyed the training. Appreciate, as always, the encouragement. Oh, actually, I forgot to show you one thing. This is important. This saved my life on Monday. I'm not sponsored. I have said this, I'm not sponsored by anybody, obviously. I'm a small channel. I'm super grateful for my community, but I am a small channel. I'm way too small for sponsorship. So this isn't a plug for Hexar. This is a plug for good quality helmets. I had a full frontal crash into a car. I can't talk much about it. I thought I was on a roundabout. I wasn't. I thought I was coming off the roundabout. I wasn't. This saved my life. This happens to be a very high quality helmet. It is one that Ed uses, but I bought this long before Ed was actually sponsored by Hexar, because Bespoke Cycling is one of the few shops that actually gets you measured up and sells it here in the UK. And I'll show you. So I had a full... The top comes off easily. It's meant to come off because you can swap the top over for different colours, all this kind of thing. But I had what's called a bullseye. Straight onto the bonnet and the windscreen. Hit the ground, and that's why I'm quite badly injured still on the left leg, and I've still got little headaches, that kind of thing. But I want to show you the value of a helmet, and I'm going to show this on the vlog. But You may or may not be able to see. That's what this thing took for me there at the back. You can see what it took at the front. Hairline stress fractures, all that kind of stuff. Imagine that that was my skull. I mean, I know how much of a headache I've had on and off, because you're going to have a headache when you hit the ground, when you hit the car, smash the windscreen and hit the ground. But they're sending me a free replacement. They do that after a crash, this company. I didn't realise that when I bought it. But I do want to end on a serious note. If anyone's ever not wearing the chin strap or thinking about what do I invest in? Do I invest? I talked about the coaching. The coaching, absolutely invest. If you're riding outside, even ahead of the coaching, more than the bike, the wheels, the seat, more than anything, invest in quality in terms of the helmet. This saved my life. It is no, it's not sensationalism or anything like that. I'm very, very grateful to this company. I'm not trying to end on a low note or anything like that, because this is a high note. If I hadn't had this, these are kind of, they do a scan of your head and they kind of 3D print these things up. If I hadn't had it, you know, at best, I'd have had a much worse head injury. At worst, I would have died. And so, yeah, I'm a lucky man. You're so right, Robert. Oh, dear me. It's yeah, lucky. I'm still a little bit in shock, in all honesty, from it. But I wanted to just, I wanted to just say thank you to Hexar firstly, and I wanted to say invest. We are appreciative. Thank you, Jane, of Hexar. I bought it because I thought it was quality in terms of safety, aero, but also comfortable. And so, you know, it's a personal testament. I'm not saying go out and buy a Hexar. All I am saying is go out and buy a helmet that has got proven crash testing and quality assurances, all that kind of stuff. The other one I use, let me just quickly unclip, sorry. Unclipping is hard. Oh, Christ. You see, I can't put the lateral movement on, which is why I can't ride outside. And it takes them a while to replace the helmet. Sorry. But this is the one I use. And I see a lot of people saying, when David Miller, this is the chapter 3, but it's the POC helmet. I think it's one of the ones that Education First ride with. They use POC. And people say it looks like a dustbin on your head, or it's not a very pretty helmet. But when I first started cycling, I actually, outdoors, before I did the racing, I got this because I did a lot of research as to helmets that have good safety ratings. And so you'll see me in the vlog not looking, you know, quite as aero as with the Hexar, but hopefully I'm going to say, fingers crossed, you know, I think this is a safe one. Anyway, thank you all very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Really enjoyed the chat. As ever. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Please stay healthy. And wherever you are, whatever you do, live, thrive, and subscribe. So thank you all very much. Oh, sorry, I haven't yet ended it. Sorry, slick as ever.